Good morning and happy Labor Day. This is Beth at PTSD Penguin. It's about 5 after 11 Pacific Standard Time. Today I'm going to go over one of the goals that I had set for myself back 2 years ago and just tell you what I did, how I accomplished it, and how it's helped me. The goal was to go back into the grocery store where I got robbed and see if it triggered anything or how I felt. So I drove to Palm Springs, California. I went into the grocery store with one of my friends because I didn't really want to go by myself. So we walked around the store and looked around, and it sort of was weird because they remodeled the store. So it didn't really click the reaction I was thinking it was going to hit or make me feel uncomfortable. But we walked around, did a little shopping, and I looked around just to see if anybody I used to work with was still there. There wasn't anybody, so that was sort of interesting. Walked up to the check stand about where I was standing when I got robbed, thinking, okay, that's definitely going to hit something. So we were checking out, and one of the persons that was working there sort of triggered it a little bit, just because he sort of had the build of the person who robbed me. So I checked out, my friend checked out, and we walked out of the store. And when we got out of the store, I did a sigh of relief because I felt like, okay, I'd accomplished that goal. But about 6 months ago, I walked into a store, can't remember where it was. Might have been California, in San Diego area, but I walked into the store that was a similar store, laid out exactly the same as it was when I got robbed. Walked around the store, started having little panic attacks. The person I was with, I said, I've got to get out of here. I can't handle this. So I checked out and I walked outside and waited for them to come outside. They said, well, hey, what's wrong? I said, this store is laid out just like the one I got robbed at, and it did trigger my PTSD. I was a little surprised because it wasn't the same town, but it was the same store, same layout and everything like that. So it did trigger it. By doing that, though, I overcome some of the fear I had of going back into the store, dealing with the pain, the insecurities I was having, and the fear of being robbed, even when I was just a customer walking through the store. So that did help curb that somewhat. I do still have issues when I'm in grocery stores, depending on what's around me, how people are acting. I noticed recently the stores here where I live, more and more customers are wearing masks again. So I'm trying to not look at them or walk around them and just deal with it. If they do have the black mask on, which seems to be my trigger, I definitely look the other way or turn down a different aisle. I don't want to trigger my PTSD if I can control it. Controlling it is part of the best thing you can do. If you know what the trigger is, try to avoid that trigger. I do know that black masks trigger it, certain people trigger it, and certain environments trigger it. Funny thing is, when I got robbed at gunpoint that time, that was the first time I'd ever seen a gun. The police officer said, hey, Beth, what kind of gun is it? I said, it's a black one with a hole in it. I had no clue what a gun looked like, what a gun was. It was the first time I saw a gun. Well, fast forward to 2021, I think it was. I now own a few guns, and I'm getting pretty good at shooting them. But it helps me protect me, and it helps get the fear out of me of being around guns. I've gone to a couple gun ranges. I've walked in gun shops, things like that. And it does seem to mellow out my fear of the guns and being shot at. So that's a good thing. One of the other things I was dealing with was just walking. Walking seems to affect my PTSD, and I don't know why. I do find that when it's hot out and there's black tar on the ground, it looks shiny and my PTSD kicks in. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with the robbery or anything like that. Back in a long time ago, I had fallen down a few times and twisted my leg when it was rainy or icy out. And ever since then, sometimes I get shaky, or if it looks slippery, I'm scared I'm going to fall. And that, for some reason, is also part of the PTSD. Certain things trigger it. You never know. I know when it does hit, if I'm walking by myself, I have to stop, stand where I'm at, and try to take deep breaths just to deal with it. If I'm with somebody, I'll just grab their arm, top of their arm or their shoulder or their hand, and walk across the street or wherever I'm walking, and I'm fine. Also, I've noticed that the casinos here lately are putting all these shiny floors in the casinos, the hotel rooms. They really need to consider that when they do that, because a lot of people, not just me, have issues with shiny floors. If you're handicapped and have a cane or anything like that, that floor is going to be difficult for you to maintain or manage on, because if you slide, that's it. I wish they would start putting back carpets on the floors or rugs or something, or have something you can hold on to for stability, because I think that is a liability for just people who can't walk or had issues trying to walk on slippery floors. So that's one of the other things I'm trying to deal with the PTSD and getting through life in general. Let's see what else. Oh, I was going to talk about it. Oh, yeah. I went back to work on Friday, and just driving up to the driveway, sitting in my car, walking into where I work. I had a little PTSD episode, because it's been 3 months since I've been back to work. I went out of work because of my PTSD, but come to find out, I also hurt my back, so that correlated with everything and made it more difficult. When I got back into where I work, people were sort of happy to see me. They didn't really act that well, but I just sat down and started doing what I needed to do, took deep breaths, was dealing with my back hurting, and just trying to overcome everything and get on with life. I will be coming back to you shortly in the next day or two with another update on my PTSD, what I've been going through. I look forward to hearing from you, talking to you, and maybe having an open conversation either through text or chat with you as well. Again, this is Beth.